Welcome. आज के इस विश्लेषण में, specifically to all you future AI engineers of India joining us, we have a very clear, highly actionable goal. We are going to map out the exact blueprint you need to build a wildly successful career as an AI engineer by 2026. We are cutting through all the online noise today to give you a precise step-by-step roadmap from the absolute basics all the way to advanced machine learning.
Okay, let's dive right into this, shall we? Because before we can even talk about how to build AI, we really need to acknowledge how it's already running our lives. I mean, look at these examples. From the very second you unlock your phone with Face ID to the content that Instagram or LinkedIn decides to recommend to you, AI is constantly working in the background. When you make a UPI payment on PhonePe or Paytm, AI is instantly scanning for fraud. When you book an Uber or an Ola, it's predicting the traffic. Even a simple email getting sorted into your spam folder is powered by artificial intelligence. It's seamlessly integrated into your everyday life, literally from your pockets to your payments.
And you know what? Because it is everywhere, the demand for people who can actually build and maintain these systems is absolutely staggering. Right now, on LinkedIn alone, there are over 34,000 job openings for AI engineers, plus over 14,000 more on Indeed. This isn't some distant futuristic career path that might happen one day. The industry demand is massive, it is happening right now, and organizations are actively hunting for people who actually know how to build this stuff.
So how exactly do you go out and get one of those 34,000 jobs? Well, here is your map. Today we'll be covering 1. Welcome to AI engineering, 2. Mastering the fundamentals, 3. Deep dive into data, 4. Building real-world projects, 5. Essential tools and deployment, and finally, 6. Landing your first job. Think of this as your step-by-step staircase from ground zero to a high-paying role.
Step 1. Welcome to AI engineering. Let's start by actually defining the role.
Now, you'll want to notice the clear separation here between an AI engineer and a traditional software engineer. A standard software engineer typically works with the front end, back end, and databases, right? But an AI engineer, you're sitting right in the middle of being a traditional software developer and a full-blown data scientist. Your job is to take an AI system, an ML model, or a specific API and integrate it into an existing application. You are essentially the bridge that brings artificial intelligence into everyday software.
But hey, before we go any further, I definitely need to give you a firm reality check. The term AI is a massive buzzword right now, and a lot of folks seem to think it's some sort of get-rich-quick scheme. Trust me, it is not. You are not going to take a 3-day prompt engineering course and suddenly walk away with a 50-lock package. No way. To actually do this, to become highly skilled and respected in this field, you need to expect 5 to 6 months of absolute dedication. We're talking 3 to 4 hours of studying, coding, and building every single day. You absolutely must adopt a long-term learner mindset because this field is constantly evolving.
Let's move to phase 2 and see how this builds, mastering the fundamentals, which really boils down to code and math. So you've got 3 non-negotiable pillars here. First up is math. Machine learning handles massive amounts of data stored as vectors and matrices, which means you need a really solid grasp of linear algebra, calculus, and probability. But don't panic, a lot of this is just 12th grade level math. The second pillar is Python. It is the absolute king of AI programming. You need to know its syntax, loops, and object-oriented programming inside and out, because basically all your models are going to be built in Python. And the third pillar, data structures and algorithms, or DSA. Now, you don't need advanced competitive programming levels, but medium-level knowledge of arrays, trees, and graphs is absolutely essential for writing efficient core logic, and it gives you a huge critical edge during those job interviews.
All right, moving to section 3. Deep dive into data, because data really is the core of AI.
You see, before you can build intelligence, you've got to prepare the data. You're going to spend a huge amount of your foundational time on data preprocessing, cleaning and structuring information using Python libraries like NumPy and Pandas, and then visualizing it all with Matplotlib. Once your data is squeaky clean, you enter the world of machine learning. And simply put, machine learning is the beating heart of AI. It's the practice of looking at past data patterns to predict future outcomes, or to make highly accurate recommendations. And within machine learning, you're going to be working across 3 main categories. First up, supervised learning, where you use labeled data, like teaching a system which emails are spam and which aren't. Second is unsupervised learning, where the data is completely unlabeled. Think of a supermarket analyzing thousands of receipts just to discover that people who buy milk also tend to buy bread. And finally, reinforcement learning. Honestly, think of this exactly like training a pet dog. When the algorithm does something right, it gets a reward or a positive value. When it messes up, it gets a penalty. Over time, it learns the perfect behavior. And it's this exact reward system that powers crazy complex tech like self-driving cars. Once you conquer standard machine learning, you move to the heavy hitters, deep learning and large language models, or LLMs. This is where you really unlock your true AI powers. You'll study neural networks, like ANNs, CNNs, and RNNs that essentially mimic the human brain. You'll also dive deep into natural language processing, where AI learns to understand human sentiment, and of course, generative AI, the tech behind household names like ChatGPT and Gemini. Now, as an AI engineer, you don't necessarily need to invent these massive models from scratch, but you absolutely, 100% must understand how they process information so you can implement them effectively in the real world.
Step 4. Building real-world projects. It is time to show your proof of work.
Because let's be real, theory means nothing without application. You need 3 to 4 robust, fully deployed projects on your GitHub. And ideally, you should tailor these to specific industries, like finance or healthcare. Let's fire through some really high-impact project ideas. Project 1, a fake news or bot detector. By using support vector machines and NLP techniques on Twitter data, you can literally build a system that flags misinformation. And fun fact from our source material today, building this exact SVM project actually helped the original speaker land a job at Microsoft.
Project 2, a text summarization tool. Just imagine feeding a massive 20-page article or a painfully long email thread right into your app and it instantly generates a crisp one-paragraph summary. By leveraging NLP and utilizing open-source transformers from platforms like Hugging Face, you can automate massive text compression. It's an incredibly practical tool that instantly shows employers you know how to solve real, everyday productivity problems.
And Project 3, an AI art generator. And this brilliantly illustrates a concept called GANs, or Generative Adversarial Networks. Imagine you want to turn a regular photo into a painting by Picasso, or maybe a still from a Studio Ghibli film. GANs use 2 networks working against each other, a generator and a discriminator. It's literally like an art forger trying to trick a master detective. The generator keeps trying to make better and better fake art, and the detective keeps trying to spot the flaws, until the fake art becomes virtually indistinguishable from reality.
Moving on to Section 5, Essential Tools and Deployment. This is all about taking your code, going live.
When you're building these deep learning models, you'll primarily choose between 2 massive frameworks, PyTorch and TensorFlow. The absolute best advice here is to start your journey with PyTorch. It's incredibly beginner-friendly and heavily used in academic research, which just makes learning the core concepts so much easier. Once you've built a few solid projects and you really understand the architecture, then you migrate over to TensorFlow, which is highly advanced and deeply integrated into industry-level production.
So the crucial point here is taking that code off your local machine and deploying it into the real world. For your initial projects, you can totally just use free hosting platforms like Render. But to be truly industry-ready, you need to pick one major cloud platform, whether that's AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, and learn how to deploy on it. Also, if you're a working professional trying to pivot into AI, you must master Docker. Containerization is simply a non-negotiable DevOps skill in today's software ecosystem.
And here we are, Section 6, landing your first job, the final boss.
To defeat this final boss, you're going to need a polished resume, a really strong LinkedIn presence where recruiters can actually find you, and ideally, a few hackathon wins or an internship to prove your hands-on experience. But let me tell you, the reward is so worth it. For a highly skilled fresher AI engineer, starting salaries currently range from 6 to 12 lakhs per annum. This is significantly higher than basic data analytics roles. It proves that the 5 to 6 months of daily grinding, coding, and building is an investment that pays off tremendously well.
Look, AI is not just some passing trend. It is the brand new infrastructure of our digital world, and it is bleeding into every single sector on the planet. We're talking from predicting loan risks in finance, to discovering new drugs in healthcare, all the way to generating massive media and entertainment. The roadmap is completely laid out in front of you, the tools are open source, and the demand is unprecedented. So I leave you with this one question to think about. What industry will you revolutionize with your first AI project? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll see you next time.